And what NotebookLM is it's a very, very good AI tool that if you have a bunch of notes to easily understand it all. It's probably the best way to understand a bunch of notes that you've taken. To get started, you'll want to go to notebooklm.google.com and you'll be brought to this screen here. And then to get started, you can either try an example notebook. So Google has set up a little tutorial for you. So you can go ahead and try that. But for this video, we can go ahead and just click create. And you'll be brought to this screen here. So on the left is your sources. So this is where you would put all of your notes that you want to understand. But you can add more than just like Word documents or paper notes that you have. You can actually also add Google Slides, and then they also have a built-in Google Docs button for you just from your Google Drive. Really any file, including audio files. So let's say pdf.txt, markdown file, and an audio file. You can also paste in plain text and a link to a website or a YouTube video. So you could even summarize a YouTube video and ask questions about that video. So let's go ahead and try that feature. So once you've found the video that you want to add to NotebookLM, go down to the share button and copy this link. Go back to NotebookLM. You want to click add source, then click this YouTube button and paste that link into here. So here I've just found a video on how to graph quadratic functions in intercept form by the organic chemistry tutor. So this would be a good way to use it is if you found a bunch of good YouTube tutorial videos and you kind of want to save them for later and use it with NotebookLM to better refer to later and ask questions about it. So once you have your videos in and your sources in, you can go down here and add a note. So this is just manually typing whatever you want to take a note of. This is a note. And then go click Studio to go back. And then you'll have your note here. And the next thing you can do is an audio overview. So this is a really cool feature because what this does is creates a 2-person AI podcast automatically for you to listen to about all of your sources over to the left side. And it does take a couple minutes to make, but here it is. So it's automatically made a 10-minute and 51 long minute podcast. So this is really good if you want to listen to your notes and like say study for exam coming up. You can listen to this while at the gym or in your car, something like that. So let's go ahead and listen to it for a couple seconds.
And all we do is plug that x value back into our original equation.
Okay, so now we've got our intercepts, we've got our vertex. Let's add some more details to our graph, to make it super accurate. And this is where things get really cool, because parabolas are symmetrical, like a mirror image.
That symmetry makes graphing them a lot easier, doesn't it?
It really does. And speaking of symmetry, that imaginary line that cuts the parabola right down the middle, that's what we call the axis of symmetry. And guess what? Its equation is simple.
And over at the notes section, other than creating a custom note that you can just write whatever you want in, like we did earlier, NotebookLM gives you 4 options to automatically make some really good notes. So it will automatically make a full study guide for you, a briefing doc, and a FAQ and timeline note. So here I just created a briefing doc. You can also do that with this button here or this button here. And let's go ahead and take a look at what it says. So this is basically a quick, organized summary and notes of how to graph quadratic functions in intercept form. It gives title, date, subject, and key concepts and procedures, and then nicely lays that out for you. So we can go to the first one, intercept form of a quadratic function, and then you can go ahead and read through these here. Intercept form is represented as this equation, P and Q. It's overall similar to how you'd maybe take notes yourself in class, but here NotebookLM took notes for you on your sources to the left, in our case that YouTube video. So here you can use this as like a handwritten note you'd normally take in class. And then go back and click Studio, and then let's try out the study guide. And with the study guide, this is pretty cool. It gives you a list of questions for you to practice with, gives you the answer key to them, and even generates some possible essay questions down at the bottom. And a little glossary of some key terms. And just like what we learned in the last note of what P and Q represent, you can practice with those questions. And here it says its intercept form equation P and Q represent the x-intercepts of the parabola. So this would be a good way to practice for an upcoming exam. Next, let's take a look at the FAQ. And the FAQ note is exactly what you'd expect. It's a list of common questions about this topic and the answer to it. So first one, what is the intercept form of a quadratic equation and what do the variables represent? Intercept form of the quadratic given as this equation, and so on. And then the last note is timeline. And what the timeline note does is gives you the timeline of the video or the sources that you uploaded. So the timeline of events in the source is that first starts out with the introduction to intercept form, and you go on to all of these other topics here. And it even lists out the cast of characters, so it calls out the instructor in the video, which we know as the chemistry tutor. And if you ever want to make your own custom note over here, become a source, so that NotebookLM kind of works off of it and can do all these things with it, all you have to do is click on your note and click convert to source, and that'll move it over here and I'll put it in your source list so that NotebookLM can work with it. And of course, just like ChatGPT or any other AI LLM, you can directly chat with it by typing here. It also gives you a couple preset questions you could ask it. So let's try it. How does intercept form reveal key quadratic features? And this is the response it gave me. The cool thing Google has included in this is a bunch of citations. So you can see all these numbers here. And this indicates that this is from source 1. And of course, this is the only source we have. But if you had more, you'd have whatever number corresponds to the source. So you can click on it, and here's kind of the transcript from the video of where it got that information from. And then let's try asking it, how do I graph a quadratic function? And here it gives me the answer with all of those expected citations. And the last main feature of NotebookLM is if you go over to your sources and directly click on one, this window will pop up. This top section here is a quick summary of the video and some key topics. And if you click on one of these key topics, it will ask NotebookLM in the chat here for you. So here it said discuss axis of symmetry, and it laid out an answer for you. So this is where you can quickly find key points that you are really trying to find. And of course, we have the YouTube video itself if you do want to just watch it. And then this is the transcript from the video. And this is actually the data that NotebookLM is working with, is all of this text data here. So what it really does, the only way NotebookLM really works is off of text. So in case of a YouTube video, it can automatically transcribe it into captions and then works off of the captions.